Signorelli Services, Auto Repair, and more.
Good morning, everybody. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, 38 degrees here in southeastern Ohio, about 30 miles east of Cincinnati. This morning I wanted to make a video going over this 2000 Honda Civic LX sedan that I recently came across and purchased. This is a D16 Y7 non-VTEC. For anybody that knows Hondas, LX means no sunroof. It does have power windows, power locks, and power mirrors. Picked this car up from my grandma's neighbor for $350. The car was having some issues, and one day the gentleman went to get in it to go to work, and it just would not start. The main issue that the car was having was, well, as he put it to me, he would be driving and cylinder number 1 spark plug wire would start hopping out of the cylinder, which would cause the car to then start misfiring, as you would expect. And then after that happened so many times, the car just would not start for work in the morning. So I bought the car for $350. I didn't even look at it. He threw a price at me, told me he wanted to sell it. I love Honda, so I jumped right on it. Figured worst come to worst, I can always swap an engine. But it actually did not end up even getting anywhere near that point. So let me get the camera set up here. Awesome. So what we ended up finding on this car was cylinder 1 spark plug was internally broken. You can see the whole thing just spinning. You can see the black where the combustion was getting around the spark plug. So that's why the spark plug wire was hopping, and then it got to a point where it was leaking enough compression where it was having a really hard time starting. So yeah, I went, picked it up, I found that, I put a set of $20 NGKV powered plugs in, got it fired up, and drove it home. It does burn oil in higher RPMs, and we know that cylinder 1 was without spark for quite some time, so it was dumping fuel into the cylinder and not burning it. So what I'd like to do today is kind of run a compression test on the engine and see what kind of numbers we're getting across the board, especially on that cylinder 1, since it was getting washed with fuel for so long. So let's go ahead and dive in. This is a D16 Y7. It did have a new head put on it at one point. I can't remember why he said that was, but they did have a new head on it, and I believe it. I mean, it's very clean. And I've never seen one stamped USA on the front. Maybe that's just me. Car has 138,000 miles. So it runs fantastic. I mean, it runs great. It burns oil in high RPMs. I've tested it when I'm parked. If you rev it higher, it will burn it. But when I'm driving down the road and I get on it, I really don't see anything. So it's kind of weird to me, but might just be, you know, the amount of wind force or whatever going by. But we are going to go ahead and jump into this compression test. So we're going to start by removing all the spark plug wires. And then we will unplug the distributor. So I'm going to go ahead and set you back up, and I'll take care of that. You can pull the fuel pump fuse, or what I will do is just unclip these injectors because it's right here. It's easy to get to. So let's move these plug wires out of the way. And you just pop these off. Simple and easy. So got all 4 injectors unplugged. Now we're going to pull all these spark plugs out. So you're just going to need nice long extension, 5/8 spark plug socket, and your 3/8 ratchet. break them all loose with the ratchet, and then you just spin them the rest of the way by hand. Some spark plug sockets have a rubber boot in which grabs the spark plug. Mine is magnetic, but it has worn out over time. So typically I'll just get them loose, and then I'll stick a spark plug wire down in there, clip on top of the spark plug, and pull it out with that. Whatever works for you. So I will just use my one spark plug wire. Pop it down in there. Grab the spark plug out. And yeah, we'll set them right here. I'm going to keep them in order so they go back in the cylinder they're coming out of. To recap, we have the distributor disconnected, all the fuel injectors unplugged, all 4 spark plugs are out. We're going to set up the spark plug compression tester. Getting this kit is compression tester gauge. Get the rubber hose here, and then you're going to find your corresponding piece that screws down into the engine. We got an M14 for this Honda Civic here. So what we'll do is we will screw this on to the end of the rubber hose, and they have rubber O-rings on them. You really don't want to smash those down. So we'll do hand tight there, and then this will get screwed down into the cylinder, and we're going to start with cylinder 1, closest to the front of the engine. Okay, and you don't want to go crazy. And then you'll take your gauge here, and you will simply attach it to your hose and lay it over here to the side. So I'm going to bring you guys a little closer here. That way you can watch this gauge and tell me what we're seeing. Once again, we're starting on cylinder 1. You guys have a really good view of the gauge, so we're going to go ahead and crank it. We're going to give it about 5 cranks, and then we'll come out, record the number, and move on to the next cylinder. And this engine was running for about 20 minutes beforehand, so it's good and warm. So let's go ahead. Okay, so that's awesome. So we're looking at 170 on cylinder number 1. So I'm going to write that down, and then we will move on to cylinder number 2. So clear that, pop our gauge off, set it down somewhere safe, and we will go ahead and back this out and move it over to cylinder number 2. Okay. So now we're going to move on to cylinder number 2 here. Same thing, we're just going to screw it down in there. You don't have to go crazy with it. Once you feel it get tight, maybe give it just a little bit more there, and that should be plenty. And then we're going to pop the gauge back on. It is clear. We'll lean it over here, and we'll do 5 cranks. All right, so it looks like we're right about 180 there. So we'll write that down. Move over to cylinder number 3 here. All right, that should be good. Gauge on, over here, nice and safe. 5 cranks. Oh yeah. So we have it's like 185 on cylinder number 3. That's awesome. All right, last one. Cylinder number 4 here. Alright, it's good and tight. Gauge is on. Alright, 5 cranks. Last one. Well, that one was about 155. I accidentally let a little air out, but so that one's a little lower than the other ones, but still very good. So looks like we have ourselves a healthy D-Series engine. So that's fantastic. And like I said, I bought this for $350. Did not know exactly what I was going to be getting into by any means. But if I come across a good deal on a Honda, especially now in 2024, I'm taking it. I bought this car specifically to try to find the issue, fix it, and sell it. I figured, you know, as long as it wasn't anything too major, it would be a great starter car for somebody just learning to drive, or a good work commuter for somebody. I mean, this car is a very clean interior. Yeah, it's in really good shape. The guy I got it from was a younger guy. He actually ended up buying it from an older lady, and then it ended up with me. But the interior's in really good shape. Oh, back door's locked. Got my baby's car seat base in there. We have been driving this thing already. Just trying to bring it back around. It has been sitting for a year or so. So, well, that'll about wrap up today's video. Like I said, I wanted to kind of get an idea of where the compression numbers were sitting, especially on cylinder number 1, being that it was getting washed with unburnt fuel for so long. But, I mean, it looks like we kind of hit the jackpot on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together, keep these numbers in mind, and safely say that I'll move forward and just do the other maintenance items I had in mind. We've done an oil change. I did add some Rizlone ring repair. You know, never been a, you know, fluid kind of guy and expecting it to do anything, but we'll see. I mean, it burns a little oil on high RPMs. At low RPMs, it doesn't burn anything. So I figured I'd put it in. You know, I am selling this car, so I'm not planning on keeping it and putting a lot of money into it. I've done the oil change, the spark plugs, added that, new battery, and she'll probably get some front brakes and rotors, and then she will be up for sale on Marketplace. So if anybody sees this video and they want themselves a very nice work commuter, drop a comment. Be happy to work a deal with you. Other than that, have a wonderful day. Here shortly, the sun should be coming out and we'll be creeping into the 50s, so it's looking like it's going to be a good day here. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.